From the station working for you, this is WRTV News at 11, streaming now.
Thanks for joining us for WRTV News at 11. I'm Nicole Griffin. Tonight, thousands of Hoosiers have now cast their ballots in the 2020 general election. And this was the scene here at early voting locations today in Marion County. Long lines full of voters, some waiting hours to make sure their vote is counted. Marion County opened 5 additional early voting sites today. We visited 2 locations, and this is video here from St. Luke's United Methodist Church, where we talked to a first-time voter about her experience.
I wasn't expecting to be in line for 7 hours, but it was worth it. I'm happy I got to get my vote in and exercise my right.
To me, it's what people died for, so I will vote any and every time that I can. And this one here, to be early, just made it even better because I wanted to make sure that I didn't have to wait until the end.
Well, these early voting sites are open to voters from 10 to 5 on the weekends and 11 to 7 during the week until November 1st. You can also vote early at the City County building downtown leading up to Election Day. We have a list of the new locations now open and everything you need to know about voting at WRTV.com/election 2020. All eyes are on the states that could decide the presidential election with just 10 days to go. Today, Joe Biden held rallies across Pennsylvania while his running mate Kamala Harris was in Ohio. Other big-name Democrats made stops to support their ticket, including Barack Obama. The former president had harsh words for President Trump's handling of the pandemic during a drive-in rally in Miami.
This pandemic would have been tough for any president. Because we haven't seen something like this in 100 years. But the idea that somehow this White House has done anything but completely screw this thing up is nonsense.
We are learning tonight that Vice President Mike Pence's chief of staff and his top aide, Marty Obst, have tested positive for COVID-19. The White House says Pence will not change his travel plans. He made appearances in Florida today. President Trump began his day voting in the Sunshine State, then wrapped up his night in Wisconsin with stops in North Carolina and Ohio in between.
You have to lead your life, and you have to get out. You have to be vigilant, be careful. Socially distance. Yeah, get too close, put the mask on, put it on.
And a show of support for President Trump that you might have noticed out on the roads in Indianapolis today. Hundreds of vehicles met in Danville and drove a loop around I-465, waving flags and showing off their signs. Now to your forecast. WRTV Storm Team meteorologist Kyle Mounts is standing by. And Kyle, plenty of sunshine. It looked really nice outside today, but when you stepped outside, it was pretty chilly.
Yeah, big change from the last couple of days, Nicole. Instead of the 70s and even lower 80s, today only made it into the 50s. 53 the high in Indianapolis and Muncie. There you can see the average is 62 degrees, so kind of missed the mark, and it looks like we'll do the same thing again. But a beautiful view here over Indianapolis as we are looking there at 11 o'clock here on your Saturday night. We got temperatures that range from 46 in Indy to a chilly 38 degrees right now in Kokomo. It is 51 in Bloomington. That's where we've got a little more cloud cover. Those clouds have been building in from the south. You got clear skies in Kokomo. That's why you got the chilly temperatures. But those clouds will continue to overspread the area, should hold the temperatures for the rest of the night pretty steady here. Middle 30s for you around Peru, 40 in Indianapolis, and 42 Bloomington into Columbus. So that's where we'll start off our Sunday morning. There are the clouds. That's also going to keep temperatures pretty steady in the morning hours as well in the lower 40s. I'll let you know if those clouds will bring rain for your Sunday afternoon in a few minutes.
Kyle, thank you. One teenager is using his Eagle Scout project as a chance to do something good in his neighborhood. The 17-year-old is bringing a park to the Crown Hill community. WRTV's Troy Washington shows us the impact of this new addition.
According to residents here in Crown Hill, the closest park for children living here isn't close or convenient at all, but 17-year-old Corey Stapleton is about to change that.
I was 14 years old when the church, I believe, first started building this park. And at first, they were going to build this for the elderly. They had gravel roads around. They had just picnic tables and benches.
Stapleton is a member here at this church. Now, originally, the park was a church project, but Stapleton got permission from the pastor to take it over.
And I said I could do something with this. I'm going to build a park. He was like, well, finish it up for us. So I decided to build a tire park for the community and the youth. One, because I see a bunch of kids running around here, running across the street, trying to play with their friends, play curveball. I've seen too many kids almost get hit by cars.
The teenagers saw a problem and started working to fix it.
When I grow up, I want to become an architect. I love seeing how things come together. I had to get the workbook, I had to get the application, I had to get a proposal filled out so I could do all this. I had to get it approved.
He even found a cost-effective way to tackle his plan.
Used tires last and doesn't cost much, so I got a win-win.
On Saturday, WRTV watched as Stapleton and his Boy Scout troop brought his plan to life.
We have a tire swing in the back, we have tire tunnel, we have play dome behind me, which they're building, sandboxes, tire rockers, and tic-tac-toe boards.
The Coppin Chapel Tire Park is for his Eagle Scout project. It's a goal less than 5% of his peers accomplish.
I was signed up in Boy Scouts at a very young age since I was in 3rd grade. I started all the way from Cub Scouts, and I'm about to be Eagle now.
A park that will be around for play long after his goal is achieved. Working for you, Troy Washington, WRTV.
Troy, thank you. And tonight we're learning more about a 20-year-old Indiana University student who was hit and killed by a stray bullet while visiting New York City. According to WABC, police say Ethan Williams was hit by a stray bullet around 2:30 this morning in Brooklyn. Ethan was part of the mayor's youth council and worked to find solutions to poverty and violence in his hometown. His father says Ethan planned to continue that work.
We just got off the phone with a representative from the mayor's youth council here in Indianapolis. And I guess Ethan told him when he left, he said, I'll be back to Indianapolis. He's like, I'm going to come back here and I'm going to be part of the change that needs to happen to improve this city.
Mayor Joe Hogsett sent a statement to WRTV saying in part, quote, the news that Ethan was killed overnight in New York City is a tragic reminder that the scourge of gun violence is a national crisis, cutting short the promising future of far too many of our young people. These are issues that Ethan was passionate about, and we owe it to him to continue these important conversations. Doctors and medical officials are warning a fall coronavirus surge is spreading across the country. The United States set a daily record Friday with more than 83,000 new confirmed COVID-19 cases, topping the record set during a surge over the summer. Here in Indiana, the State Department of Health is reporting more than 2,700 new positive cases and 24 deaths. Positivity rates have been climbing. The 7-day rate for unique individuals is now at 13%. As of yesterday, 1,685 Hoosiers were hospitalized with the virus. That's an increase of 327 patients over the last week. A quarter of the country's hospitals currently have 80% of their ICU beds occupied. That number was about 18% over the summer. ABC's Alex Prochet has the latest on the spread of COVID-19 across the country.
According to an internal Health and Human Services memo obtained by ABC News, coronavirus cases and deaths are rising by double digits. 39 states are reporting rising hospitalizations, with 14 hitting record highs. This week, Missouri reported its 3rd straight day of a record number COVID hospitalizations and highest 7-day average in over 5 months. Medical officials are warning that a fall surge is blanketing much of the United States. Illinois' top doctor breaking down while announcing the state's caseload.
A total of 363 confirmed cases since the start of this pandemic. Excuse me, please.
Ohio set record highs 3 days in a row. This Cincinnati doctor trying to put her community's 25 weekly deaths in perspective.
Imagine if we had a fatal bus crash every week. Would we act? Yes, we would act.
The University of Dayton announced one of their students died from COVID-19 on Thursday, just 18 years old. New Jersey's governor says today's COVID-19 case count marks its highest daily figure since May. Some doctors stating that pandemic fatigue has led to decreased mask wearing and social distancing and subsequent growth in new cases. Dr. Anthony Fauci on MSNBC saying President Trump hasn't attended a coronavirus task force briefing in months and is choosing to listen to science advisor Scott Atlas, who recently tweeted that masks don't work.
I definitely don't have his ear as much as Scott Atlas right now. That has been a changing situation.
And in the race for a vaccine, AstraZeneca and Johnson & Johnson both announced their late-stage trials have resumed in the U.S. Alex Perche, ABC News, Washington.
Alex, thank you. Still ahead on the news at 11, honoring the dead and celebrating the living. We take you to the Day of the Dead holiday tradition in Lawrence. Plus, WRTV sports anchor Brad Brown has a look at the Big Ten's college football return, including today's exciting Indiana win and a victory for Purdue as well. Kyle.
And we are getting in on a big-time weather change. September saw barely 1/10 of an inch of rain. So far in October, almost 4 inches. We got more rain on the way in your 7-day planning forecast. We'll break it down for you. You're watching WRTV News at 11.
Hiring Hoosiers is connecting you and your family with opportunities for students to go from the classroom to a career. An important step is getting the right help to continue their education, and that involves filling out the free application for federal student aid, or FAFSA. But that process can be tricky. Even during the pandemic, College Goals Sunday is making sure families can get their questions answered. This year, the event is being held virtually beginning at 2 p.m. tomorrow. Students have to fill out a FAFSA by April 15th to be considered for federal and state grants, scholarships, and student loans at most colleges and vocational schools.
The FAFSA is the source for federal aid, but it's also the source for Indiana state aid. And it's also the source for the aid that comes from the colleges. Often other scholarships require the FAFSA to be filed. And so it's not just federal aid, it's almost all types of financial aid.
You can learn more about the virtual College Goals Sunday event right now at hiringhoosiers.com, including what you should have handy before attending. Families kicked off Halloween week at a parade tonight in Greenwood. Dozens of groups marched in the parade throughout downtown. Participants and spectators were encouraged to wear masks and socially distance. Residents took the opportunity to get out and celebrate.
My fiance actually found out about it on a Facebook page, and we live relatively close by, so we decided to check it out. This is celebrating Halloween this year. So we're here to get some candy.
The Marion County Health Department recommends outdoor socially distanced events for Halloween. Attending indoor parties and haunted houses are not recommended. A different kind of fall festival took place this afternoon, celebrating the dead and honoring the living. WRTV's Rafael Sanchez reports now from Lawrence.
Lawrence Civic Plaza became a centerpiece for a cultural celebration known as the Day of the Dead, or the Dia de los Muertos. Tradition calls for people to set up an offering with the person's favorite things for their visit back to Earth. The day commemorated on November the 2nd was highlighted in the Disney movie Coco.
Students have a real need to honor the people that they have loved, who have come before them, and to learn maybe from their families some more things about maybe a grandparent who has passed. It's been a very nice exploration for them.
The Lawrence Township School Foundation arranged for students currently involved in numerous immersion programs to provide multiple performances.
We're all here together, and we need to make this world a better place for everyone.
And this Dia de Muertos is giving us those values, love, values, sharing the culture, remembering, our past, our ancestors. So I think this is very important.
This program is in its second year. Funds raised from this event will benefit arts and cultural programs here for Lawrence Township students. In Lawrence, Rafael Sanchez, WRTV.
And a nice sunny fall day to enjoy some activities outdoors, but tonight certainly needing to layer up a little bit. Chilly out there. We got 46 degrees. The clouds have been rolling in. Before we got those cloudy skies, though, Brett Gibson snapping this shot of a meteor near the Muncie area earlier this evening, part of the oriented meteor shower. It peaked earlier in the week, but still fairly active here as we go through the end of October. So maybe you'll see a couple of meteors here over the next couple of nights. Just again, going to need that jacket if you're heading out there to look for any. It's in the upper 30s already right now in Peru, 46 in Martinsville, Connorsville at 45, and you got 47 degrees right now in Greencastle. Overnight tonight, down to 40 in the city. Mostly cloudy skies, again, some outlying areas that will dip down into the middle and upper 30s. And we have quite a bit of cloud cover tomorrow, so you may not need those sunglasses. Certainly going to need the jacket, though. Temperatures will hold around 43 through 9 a.m., only 45 here at 11 o'clock. And as we go into the afternoon, we'll spend most of the day in the 40s here as we don't see a lot of sunshine. Also going to add to that chill, we'll have a bit of a northeast breeze, about 10 to 15 miles per hour for us. The sunshine makes a big difference this time of year. The average highs in the lower 60s. Again, tomorrow, 53 in Indianapolis, 51 in Bloomington. May not get out of the 40s around Peru, Logansport, and Kokomo tomorrow afternoon. But it will be dry, even though we will have the clouds around on Sunday. Next chance for rain, we fast forward to the overnight hours tomorrow night into Monday and early Monday afternoon. You can see we've got that rain that will overspread the area. You look back to the west and it looks a little ominous here with some snow in portions of northern Missouri and southern Iowa. Good news for us, we're not going to be seeing that just yet. Our temperatures will be warm enough. We keep this all rain, and it goes into the overnight hours of Monday. Should be out of here pretty early, though, in the day on Tuesday. As far as rainfall potential right now, most models coming in about a half an inch of rain as possible. Again, that wouldn't really start until we get into Monday afternoon. 7-day planning forecast now as we put it all together for you. 53 with cloudy skies tomorrow, 52 before the rain moves in here on Monday, and then we'll only be around 50 as we get into Tuesday with those clouds around. Looking at the rest of the forecast here, does warm up a little bit, but still below average with highs in the 50s for midweek. Another chance for rain and Halloween. Right now, it looks like it'll be dry, Nicole, with temperatures in the upper 50s.
All right, Kyle, thank you. Big Ten football fans had been waiting weeks to see their teams in action, and that included the opening game for both IU and Purdue today. And both teams provided thrilling finishes on the first Saturday of the season. WRTV's Brad Brown has a recap.
33 years had passed since IU's last football win against a top 10 opponent. That streak ended on Saturday. The Hoosiers watched a second-half lead slip away. Devin Ford's 14-yard touchdown run gave Penn State an 8-point lead. In the final half-minute, IU got a touchdown, needed 2 to tie. Quarterback Michael Penix Jr. runs it in. Game tied 28-all, would eventually go to overtime. Penn State scored a touchdown first. IU answered with Penix finding Whop Fillier in the end zone. The Hoosiers elect to go for 2 and the win. Penix runs it again, dives for the pylon. The line judge signaled a touchdown. It took a replay review of nearly 8 minutes to confirm. That's the winner. 36-35 final. A wild way for IU to start the season 1-0.
All I seen basically was an opportunity, opportunity to go out, just show the world that, Indiana Hoosiers, what we're all about, So basically, they played man, everybody got covered up. And so I had to scramble. Now I have to make a play. It's 2-point conversion. So you got to score or we lose the game. And I couldn't let the team down.
Indiana plays at Rutgers next Saturday. Purdue also opening at home. The Boilermakers waited until game time to name Aiden O'Connell as starting quarterback. All he did was connect with David Bell for not 1, not 2, but 3 touchdowns. The last with 2 minutes left would be the game winner. O'Connell finished 31 of 50 passing on the day. Purdue comes away with a 24-20 win.
I just think the play callings that Brian decided to call, and then also with Coach Shep, just put me in the right situations, and then Aiden trusted me also, just gave me an opportunity to display my talents.
A lot of adversity was hitting us, and guys had to take on new jobs and new roles, and just very proud of the way our whole organization came together to make this victory happen.
Purdue plays at Illinois next weekend. Brad Brown, WRTV Sports.
Brad, thank you. IndyCar's final race of the season is this weekend. They are in St. Petersburg, Florida. The 2020 schedule was supposed to begin there back in March. Qualifying on Saturday afternoon saw Will Power win the pole position. It's the 9th time he's been the fastest qualifier for this race. Scott Dixon and Joseph Newgarden are the last 2 contenders for the championship. It will all be decided tomorrow. Brad will have a full recap for us Sunday night at 11 o'clock.
Finding long-term care for your loved one with COVID-19. I'm Kara Kenny. Will tell you why some families say the process is tedious and confusing.
Frustrations are bubbling over for families with loved ones in nursing homes. A Carmel woman says her elderly mother got COVID-19 at a long-term care facility, and now that same facility will not allow her back in because she has the virus. She reached out to WRTV Investigates Kara Kenny for help, and Kara found out the process for families can be downright confusing.
Some Indiana nursing homes allow new patients with COVID-19 and some do not. However, WRTV Investigates could not find a list with that information. Families we talk with say that's part of the problem. Tracy Pelton's 92-year-old mother, Dolores, had a stroke in September and needed rehab and therapy. Dolores went to the Barrington, a long-term care facility in Carmel.
She went into the Barrington for 2 weeks. During those 2 weeks, we had outdoor visits, which were very nice.
Tracy was concerned when the facility emailed her that staff members had tested positive in Dolores's unit. The Barrington tested Dolores, and while the results were pending, her feeding tube got blocked and she had to go to the hospital.
Later that night at 11 o'clock, the hospital notified me my mother was COVID positive.
But as her mom got better, Tracy hit a roadblock.
And the Barrington refused to take her back.
The facility where Dolores likely got the virus was not able to accept her. State records show the Barrington has had 13 staff test positive and 11 resident positive cases. We reached out to the Barrington, who told us they do accept COVID-19 patients, but only if a bed is available in their active COVID-19 unit. Tracy says she's had a tough time finding nursing homes and rehab facilities that accept new COVID-19 patients.
That's been the biggest problem. Nobody will take her. I spent the last 3.5 days calling everyone in the state, trying to find some place for my mother to go. Our goal is to get her healthy enough to come back home.
Zach Cattell with the Indiana Healthcare Association, which represents Indiana nursing homes, says there's no list of facilities that accept COVID patients because the situation changes daily.
Whether or not you develop a COVID unit where you're taking on new admissions from outside of your existing resident population is an operational decision based on your staffing, your PPE supply, and your ongoing supply and access to testing.
Cattell says hospital discharge planners should be able to help families. Seema Mohapatra, a healthcare expert with the IU McKinney School of Law, says unfortunately the burden sometimes falls on families to navigate the system.
There's competing concerns in terms of the long-term care facilities, infection control, and then in terms of residents, their own rights. You can't just abandon these people.
The Barrington could not comment on individual cases, but told us from the outset of the pandemic, we have worked diligently to keep our residents, their families, and other stakeholders well informed, often exceeding the reporting and communication requirements of the Indiana State Department of Health and other regulatory agencies. We reached out to the health department, who has not responded. Tracy contacted the State Department of Health as well, who told her they would investigate.
There's no place for them to go. There's nobody that wants them.
Dolores is doing better. She's in a short-term rehab now, but she's still COVID positive.
I've lived 6 weeks of hell since that stroke started. There's nobody on the same page.
WRTV Investigates connected Tracy with several resources, including IHCA and Leading Age, and they're helping her find a more long-term place to take her mom. Working for you, Kara Kenny, WRTV.
Kara, thank you. Here's some resources that may be able to help you with issues surrounding nursing homes. You can call or email the State Department of Health at Family Outreach. Their number is 317-233-7176. The Indiana Healthcare Association and Leading Age, which represent nursing homes, are another resource, as well as the state's long-term care ombudsman and AARP Indiana. You can find all of this information right now at WRTV.com. We'll be right back.
Fans of fall, this forecast is for you. We got highs in the 50s the next 7 days. Next chance for rain, that'll arrive Monday afternoon.
All right, Kyle, thank you. And thank you so much for joining us. We'll see you right back here tomorrow at 6 o'clock. Have a great night.